I'm Alina von Davier, and I am Chief Officer with ACT, where I lead ACT Next. ACT Next is an R&D innovation hub at ACT, and its primary role is to help ACT transition to a digital company, but also to build in innovation and capabilities and change the culture eventually over time. Big companies like ACT, College Board, Educational Testing Service, Pearson. So all of these companies have been around for many years, and they built their data and infrastructures in ways that were supporting of their success in the last century, to be honest. And well, maybe I shouldn't include all of them, but at least I know about some of these companies that have been, for example, having different providers for different products, and some of these providers had different ways of managing the data, naming the variables, archiving the data. So here we are, we have a lot of data in theory available to us about individuals. Let's say your children might take multiple tests over time with the same company, and in theory, we have that data. But in practice, if we want to use really good algorithm and take advantage of the technology to make the best prediction of what's the best recommendation for the student going forward, we can't easily pull that data together. So most companies in the testing industry have a data governance deficit, and that needs to be addressed. Well, now if you extend that to schools, you find the same problem. Most schools do not have a good data infrastructures. Of course, there are exceptions everywhere, but most of them do not have, or across, let's say in a district, they might create some dashboards for some schools, but if you go down, you'll find often the case that many variables, they may mean the same thing, but have different names in different applications, or the other way around, they have the same name, but mean different things. So it's very hard to align databases with schools, from schools and school districts, which is of course a complication. So data governance, I would say, is one big deficit that we have. Another, now moving from assessment and data, another area that's still very complex is how do you provide quality content at scale? This is a serious problem for all of us. If you can use crowdsourcing and take some risk with that. And depending on the purpose, those could be okay. Some are better than others. So if you put the right tools and checks in place. However, if you go for high stakes assessment with crowdsourced items, that's not gonna work for a lot of reasons, from test security, but also to the quality of the items themselves. If you have highly trained test developers, that is very expensive. It's a very expensive process, and it's very hard to scale. Then we have open educational resources, which I think it's a wonderful opportunity for all of us to figure out how to use more, but you also need to implement efficacy indices for them. Not all the resources on the internet are of quality. So you need the curation, you need an efficacy index associated with that. And then, of course, as an option, we have automatic content generation, which is what my team has been working on. I have an artificial intelligence and machine learning team, and they've been developing a platform and a capability that is called the Sphinx. And it's a mixture, it's a Sphinx, it's a machine and human collaboration. And the machine learns from the humans as it goes through the process of generating resources. So that was the second problem, generating content. The third problem that I think is still quite complicated at scale is to create proper personalized systems adaptive and personalized. And why is that difficult? Well, most of the edtech companies that build learning systems have been only using predictions for their recommendations. And that's fine in some cases, but not in all cases, especially not in education, where a lot of factors are changing all the time. So what is lacking when you look at them from a psychometric perspective, they are lacking a psychometric framework. So edtech companies would need to borrow this theoretical framework and embed tools for reliability, validity, and generalizability into their systems. And this doesn't seem to be as straightforward as people may think. Another part that we need to consider very carefully is fairness of our tools. Fairness to everyone. So we want to make sure that our tools are available for everyone. So I think I've covered at least 3 areas that I believe still need work and would need that all of us from different groups and from different companies perhaps would need to come together and figure out what's the best way to move forward.